made a promise once. You were young, maybe 14, maybe 17, and you watched a man in your life choose the wrong thing. Worked his whole life, but built nothing. Loved her completely, but lost her slowly. Had one shot, but let it pass. And you said, quietly, the way men say things they actually mean, I will never be that man. Look at your life right now, your calendar, your bank account, the man you told yourself you'd be by now. The life you're building that still doesn't feel like yours. When did you become him? The fallen oath. It didn't happen overnight. That's what makes it dangerous. There was no moment you looked in the mirror and decided to become smaller. No morning you woke up and chose mediocrity. It was quieter than that. One standard lowered, one dream quietly moved from this year to next year to someday to nowhere. And every time you had a reason, a good one. You were tired, you were busy, the timing wasn't right. You told yourself you were being smart, being patient, being realistic. But here's what nobody told you. The man you swore you'd never be, he had reasons too. Every man who ever became less than he was supposed to be had reasons. The reasons aren't the problem. The absence of a standard is. The silent erosion. There was a version of you that was hungry. You remember him. He didn't need motivation. Something happened to him. Not one thing. 1,000 small things. The first time you stayed silent when you should have spoken and nothing bad happened. So you did it again. The first time you chose the easier path and it still worked out. So you did it again. The first time you told yourself this isn't the hill to die on, and you were right. So you kept finding hills that weren't worth dying on, until you forgot what you'd die on, until you forgot you were supposed to stand for something, and nobody stopped you. Not because they didn't care, because the people around you were drifting too. That's the part that should terrify you. You didn't fall. You floated, slowly, comfortably, in the wrong direction, surrounded by other men floating the same way. Calling it life, calling it growing up, calling it being realistic. None of you had a code. None of you had a standard held from outside yourself. None of you had a man who'd look you in the eye and say, that's not who you are. Get back. The buried cost. Here's what that drift cost you. Not just money, not just her, not just your health. It cost you something harder to measure and harder to recover. It cost you your own respect. Not the kind people give you. The kind you give yourself at 2 a.m. when there's nobody watching and you're alone with the truth of what you did and didn't do that day. That quiet voice. Most men drown it out. Netflix, alcohol, scrolling, staying busy enough that the voice can't finish its sentence. But it's still there. You know what it says. It says, you are capable of more than this. It says, you made a promise. It says, the man you're becoming is not the man you planned. And here's the thing about ignoring that voice long enough. It gets quieter. Not because the truth changes, because you do. The man who once felt the gap between who he was and who he was becoming slowly stops feeling it. And that is the most dangerous place a man can live. Not rock bottom, not failure, numbness. The comfortable, quiet, respectable life with a man inside it who stopped fighting for himself so long ago he can't remember what he was fighting for. The lost blueprint. So what actually happened? Not weakness, not laziness, not character failure. A missing code. Every man who has ever held his standard, year after year, under pressure, under temptation, under the weight of a life that keeps pushing back, had something most men never get. A clear set of rules he refused to break. A brotherhood that held him to those rules when he wanted to break them. And a version of himself, vivid, specific, non-negotiable, that he was building toward every single day. Not a vision board, not a motivational quote, a code. The men your father's generation looked up to had it. The men who built things that lasted had it. The men whose names you still know had it. You were never given it. Nobody sat you down. Nobody handed you the blueprint. Nobody told you that becoming a man is not something that happens to you. It is something you build deliberately, daily, with men who are building the same thing beside you. That's not an excuse for where you are. It's an explanation. And the difference between those two words is the difference between a man who stays stuck and a man who moves. The code. The promise you made when you were young, it wasn't naive. It was correct. The man you watched, the one you swore you'd never become, he didn't fail because he was weak. He failed because he was alone. No code, no standard, no brotherhood. Just a man trying to hold himself together with nothing to hold on to. You've been doing the same thing. The men who broke the pattern didn't do it through motivation. They didn't wake up one morning suddenly disciplined. They found a code. They found men living by it. They locked in, and everything changed. That version of you exists. He's not gone. He's waiting on the other side of one decision. Most men will finish this video and open Instagram, because feeling it isn't enough. You need a code. You need brothers living by it. You need a standard that exists outside your own willpower, because willpower alone has already failed you. That's what the family code is. Not a YouTube channel, not motivation. A brotherhood of men who decided the drift stops here. The pattern breaks with us. The standard starts now. What happens inside the family code? No YouTube video can carry it. The men already inside know exactly what I'm talking about. The question is whether you're ready to be one of them. Type, "I follow the code," and mean it.